guys, my name's Evie from evsmithphotography.com and also from phototraining101.com. Now, I often get asked about cleaning up white backgrounds in Photoshop. One of the reasons being if you're working in a studio and you're using a white vinyl background or a grey vinyl background, quite often over the course of a shoot or over the course of an entire day it does get a little bit messy, especially if you've got people using shoes that have come in from outside. Then you'll get mud and dirt on it. In my case, I'm using a infinity cove, and it's a painted infinity cove, so in order to clean it up I need to paint it, and therefore by doing that it keeps wet for a few hours, so I only do it at the end of the day. Now, there are many ways of getting a white background clean, and one of those is clone stamping and also using a healing brush tool, but they do take time to do, and if you've got about 30 or 40 photographs that you're trying to process, you don't want to spend hours on just the background. You want to spend your time on the subject of your photograph, not the backgrounds. So therefore we've got a nice quick way here for you to clean up your background. As you can see with this shot, it's a model and it's on our white background, and over the course of the day we've got a lot of dirt that's appeared here, and we've got a lot of shadow that we want to keep. So if we zoom in on this photograph, now you might use a lot of clicking going on because I'm currently using a mouse and I've got a very bad mouse, to be honest. You don't need a tablet for doing this part of the photograph. You see, there's all your dirt. I want to get rid of that. So this is a good quick way of doing this. Start off with Ctrl J or Command J to make yourself a new layer. Don't ever work on the background layer. I'm going to give this a name. It's going to be clean background. I know I'm really bad with naming conventions. The way I'm going to do this is go into Filter, Noise, Median. Now this is going to immediately start blurring your background out. If you look at the preview, and you could choose a different radius for whatever your background looks like. So there is no one radius fits all. So if we go down to say sort of a radius of 9, you can see that that doesn't get the background clean. It's still got all these marks here. However, you do still keep the edging nice and tidy. Now if we go up to something like 60, wait for it to reprocess. Now this has got rid of all the marks quite nicely. It's blurred them all in, but you begin to lose a little bit of the definition in this shadow, and you're definitely using the definition in these toes and in the knee area here. Therefore you want to choose a radius which keeps the shape of your toe, which keeps these edges, which keeps your shadow, but which gets rid of the blur. Now sometimes you probably choose, I would say normally between about 20 and 40. I would sometimes go for as low as this 29, but I can still see a little bit of my dirt appearing. So I'm going to go up ever so slightly to around about 31, 32. This was a very dirty cove. About 35 I think is going to do this. Okay, I'm going to say OK to that. Now my entire photograph at this point is blurry, which I do not want to look up. Entire photograph. So what I'm going to do is put in a layer mask. And then I'm going to invert this. So it's Control I or Command I. So it's going to show the original photograph, and now I only want to paint in the blurriness on the areas that are supposed to be blurred, which is going to be the background. So make sure that you've got a white brush. So white is your foreground colour. Pick up your brush. You can have opacity of 100, flow of 100, that's perfectly fine for this. Use your square bracket keys to make this brush bigger or smaller. As I said, it's easy to do with a mouse. Don't have to have any special tools. Keep making the background of this brush different sizes. You can see here I'm using this brush and it's kept that shadow perfectly nicely for me. Again here. Now you can go down with a smaller brush to get in tighter. If you do go over the body, see for example here, as you can see it's smoothed out the leg, it's smoothed out the hand. Press X to re-invert the mask. So re-invert the brush and then just undo what you did. Okay, I'm going to go X again to make white my foreground colour again. And I'm going to make a very small brush here. Going into this area. This area is not going to be seen very much. I'm going to make my brush bigger. Now as you can see, this area here, if I'm going over it, the shadow is remaining completely intact. Now this is quite a graduated light here. We're very white up the top area here, and we're going down into sort of greyer colour down towards the bottom. It's because there is one light source and it's coming upwards and it's just shooting down onto our model. Okay, that looks quite nice and clean, to be honest. Now with a bit more time you can make it a lot neater, and if there's any small areas that you want to get rid of, then you can use the clone stamp or the healing tool for those. Now what I'm going to do is put in a blank layer. I'm going to actually zoom out ever so slightly. I'm going to clean up some of these areas. So again, check that I've got a white brush. Grab my brush tool. This time I'm going to change my flow down to about 10% or maybe lower, probably about 8% for myself. And what I want to do is I want to make the brush ever so slightly smaller, and I want to sample. Now to sample while you're doing this, you can press Alt, that'll sample a colour, and then you can paint. Alt, pick up just to get my edges ever so slightly neater. As I said, I've got a graduation here and I just want to get it nice. A lot of this you're just doing by eye. There's no exact science. And that's nice and quick. Okay, so if we turn off that layer, you can see what the beginning looked like. Pretty dirty, and now we've got a nice clean background. This is a very quick way of making a clean background in Photoshop. One thing I will say, don't use it on a very busy background or for shooting outdoors. It's really designed more for studio work where you've got one colour, either white, black or grey. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I shall see you again.